What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm just going to be talking about, creating your own bundles, creating your own listings, and the kind of profits you can get. Because as Amazon evolves, goes over time, you have to start doing different things relating to Amazon. Obviously, because arbitrage, since all the price hikes over the last sort of year and a half, things have been a little bit squeezed in terms of you buying things more expensive, but the sell price on Amazon hasn't gone up the same percentage. So obviously you have to start adding in some unique bundles or different layers of things. So for example, you could back in the day create loads of generic, then you could start creating under your own brand name, then you could start creating unique specific branded products, so like with your own box and specific things that are then bundled together, and you can go up the tiers into different bundles. For example, doesn't mean you can't still do arbitrage, but it's about layering the reselling side, getting income from different sources, even though technically it's still the arbitrage in the sense that you're probably buying from somewhere to sell, right? But obviously to add in to your business so that you can generate better profits, because that is the goal. So you can see here, I'm not going to go over everything, but you can see here, this is one of my older months. So I've gone in, this is from June, and you can kind of see here that I've got many more of these. The way that I'm doing this is just my personal take on it, is that it usually takes like 3 months to really kind of see sales. The reason is because you've got to source the product, then you've got to get it into the prep center. The prep center's got to do, well, for me, the way that I'm processing it through the prep center is they're going to take photos of the completed bundle. So whatever the product bundle is, it could be anything, whatever items are going together basically. Photos, measurements, sizes, all that kind of information. Update obviously the product page, various things like that. But that takes time because there's more layers, and it's probably taking a good 6 weeks currently with that kind of stock. Obviously anything that's just restocking, once I've already started selling that product, that unique bundle or whatever, for a while, then it's not so much of an issue. But initially, getting in those new bundles takes a bit more time. Obviously, then it's got to book into Amazon. Then you've got to start making sure the PPC's there. Then you've got to maybe update the title if you need. Then you've got to tweak the product page, pictures, whatever you've got to do. Obviously, to make it a little bit more better quality is the goal, right? But you can just see here off the top, some of the better sellers. You can see this is under units. I don't even know what order this is, under sales or something. You can kind of see here, the ROI is probably the easiest thing to look at. And you can see here, this one's actually lost money because there's 2 refunds. So, for example, I would go and investigate that and go, well, why is there 2 refunds for 4 sales sold? Is there an issue with this listing? Do I need to stop selling it? Yeah, and so these are things you would phase through. You go and do your analysis, figure out what's going on. This one's at 1%. Is it worth selling? Why is it at 1%? Can I increase the price on this, right? Different things like this. This is at 3%, so on and so forth. This is at, 205% at a really decent amount of sales with units. Lower price product, but nice ROI, nice profits for the sales that you're doing. So maybe we need to focus on trying to replicate this model, or not just that one, but maybe anything like this. That's a bit low, 12 sales. But taking the ones that are doing those sales, these are obviously, ROI 60 something percent. I'm not going to sniff out. I'm not going to, whatever the word is. What's the word? Okay, whatever it is. I'm gonna not be sad about. Don't know why I'm so complicated with words sometimes. But let's see what's going on with this. Let's see what's going on with these two, and see if we can figure out a way to replicate that in some capacity. Obviously, you could filter by net profit. You could filter by sales. You could filter by units sold. You could filter by ROI, whatever, and you could basically try to improve those listings. Now, what I'm doing with a lot of my purchases with new products is I'm buying a very low number, 4 to 6, something like that. So it's not going to be, for example, stuff that's selling here for 4, like this one here. You say, oh, that's a good one, but you've only sold 4. So, the overall profit isn't great, right? Sales, and, there's something to sniff at. Don't know why I keep saying that. Nothing to frown at. Well, you would say nothing to frown at on the ROI, but obviously these two, you'd be like, well, it's not great, is it? But you don't really understand, for me, you don't really know the backstory. Well, just because I've sold 4, it doesn't mean this product can't sell 30. It's just the fact that I've now got to restock this. So I'm being very slow and cautious with my purchasing. Obviously, I'm not being slow and cautious in terms of intentionally, but it takes time. A lot of these products are wholesale or some capacity like that. They're not standard retail from like, you know, Tesco's, for example, right? And so to restock these, it takes time. So I could sell that for in half a day or a day. Problem is, I've now got to, once I recognize it's selling, I've got to go in and actually buy more of that product. Well, if it's going to be from a wholesaler, I've got to obviously go and buy that and make sure that I have enough cart for the minimum order. So sometimes I have to spend a day or two obviously making sure that I'm able to buy that product, because I can't just buy 20 of this one product on the order. I have to get many different products within that order to obviously go over the grand or whatever the minimum order is. And so that takes a little bit of time. And then obviously that's going to take a week probably to get delivered. 5 days, 4 days if I'm lucky, but you know, roughly a week. Well, five working days, I'd say. Yeah, if it's a Wednesday this week, it'll be a Wednesday next week. Tuesday to Wednesday next week, it might get delivered. Then it's got to get depalletized by the prep center. Then it's got to be putting on to the next shipment, or not the next shipment, but probably the shipment after the one that they're doing. And that's going to take time. Then it's going to go in. And so, you know, it takes time, because obviously you don't want to be loading up with 30, 40 of these from the beginning, because you don't know if it's going to sell. So it takes many months to really see the full potential of products. So many of these that have low numbers, you know, these could all be 30, 50, 80. You don't actually fully know its full potential. And again, like with a lot of these, I'm playing around with at the beginning, playing around with the pricing, because I want to see where people are willing to buy this product at. So I'll start high and I'll bring down the price, because I'm not looking for this to be a quick, you know, get in, get out, or get in, that's make loads of sales, because I want to maximize my profits on these. Yeah. So it takes many months of just refining that process through these products to figure out what's the best sell price, what's the best ROI, how many can I actually source of this product, you know, are they out of stock? And many of my bundles I'm not able to restock, because the specific products that make up those bundles, usually many different products, I can't get hold of all of them. And so I have to really manage that. And if I identify stuff like that, or even simply I can't get that in for another 3-4 weeks because of the prep, and I've got to order it and so on and so forth, I'm raising that price on my last 2 units or whatever it is to maximize profits, because if I sell out now at the current price, it's still going to take me weeks to get that stock back in. Yeah. And over the months, you know, over like a year, you're going to have 100, 200 ASINs, potentially, if that's what you want to do. Obviously, some people will focus more on 30, for example, under a unique brand or something. It depends on exactly what type of bundles you're doing. You know, you could be doing a bit of everything, for example, and then refining that over time to figure out what's really going on. And the real goal over the slightly long term is to reduce down the kind of arbitrage stuff that isn't really bringing a lot of money in, but it does require a bit more capital investment. So you might be selling 200 units, but if you're only making £200, is it like, you know, can you replicate something different? So for example, on this, you know, 200 units are selling for £200 profit, and it's costing me, I don't know, let's see, £1 profit, it's costing me £8, let's say. I don't know, I'm making a number up, I haven't actually, off the top of my head, I can't think of the actual number it would be. And you'd be like, well, I can spend a quarter of that or half of that, and I can replicate that through a unique bundle of some kind. So just because it's profitable and there's money to be made off it, is it worth restocking it or not? Now, yes, there will be many arbitrage products that are still good to restock to sell for profits, but there also will be many where there's a lot of sellers. Maybe it's not really worth it. Maybe periodically the pricing fluctuates, and you think, I don't know, you know, when that fluctuation will happen. Is it worth even restocking that, because I might be sitting on it for 6 weeks when it does go down in price? You know, all these kind of hassles that you get when you're kind of just generically bundling in with everyone else, all the other sellers on the sort of standard arbitrage, and about refining this over time and basically increasing the different types of bundles that you have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, whatever. And then also keeping some arbitrage, but really reducing down that standard arbitrage stuff, so that you don't have to keep, you know, worrying about what's going to happen in terms of the price of the product and the number of sellers. You know, definitely when it comes to, you know, doesn't mean that come Q4 you're not going to start to increase your arbitrage products, because there's definitely potential opportunity there toward, you know, arbitrage within Q4 if you do a lot of volume. And so if you have the funds, then go ahead and do that. But it really, for me, is about is slowly improving this over time. So for example, this one has 44, but could I do 60, 70, 80? Probably, yeah. But am I in stock throughout the whole month? No, because I'm slowly increasing that stock supply over time to work out what its true value can be per month if I'm in stock on that all the time. If you just go ahead and be like a bit more blasé and be like, right, I'm going to buy 30 of everything. My very first, I'm going to create the listing. I'm going to buy 30, 40 of these products, every single product. Yeah, there will be products that will sell 30, 40 a month, but there will be some that sell 2, and then you're left with 38 sitting there. That's going to take a year to sell out. So is that really the best strategy to be playing? With these kind of products, what's more important? Is there an issue with time? Is it time sensitive? Do you need to get in quick, sell for a profit because you don't know what's going to happen to the listing? Well, most bundles, and most, depending on which one you're doing, will be more protected in some way compared to standard arbitrage, standard OA listings that have 30 people on. It doesn't mean it's going to be a huge amount of improvement as you step up towards the bundle, the bundles that you're doing, but there will be a lot more of an improvement in terms of stuff like that. So time is not necessarily as important. So therefore you can take your time because you don't need to get in and get out like you do essentially arbitrage products, right? So by building this, you can clearly see what's going on. And then what you can do each month is you can come in and just go, okay, well, I've sold 6, but I made £2.30. What's going on with this? Can I increase this price? Is it worth me sending another 6 in? Worst case, I just break even. I can't improve the listing. But best case, I can increase the price on this and I can get this percentage up. Again, this one's minus. Why is there 2 refunds? Maybe I need to stop selling it, delete the listing, get gone. Yeah. But as you're doing that, you're also then building and creating new products and new product listings. And then you're removing some, and then you're adding some, and over time, the number of these bundles over 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, increases. Now, as you go up the tiers of the bundles, obviously, usually you would have less and less of them. So, bundle option 5s, for example, you would potentially have less of them than you would bundle option 2s or something like that. And then obviously, so you'd have a lot of arbitrage, and then standard arbitrage, many people on the listing. Then you would go up, and you would have less of that, less of that, less of that, less of that, less of that. Doesn't mean that it has to be that way, of course, but usually that's kind of the rough idea behind it. As you tier up, there's less of them, but it doesn't mean that as a complete ecosystem within your business, they don't complement each other. So the way you could play it is that all the arbitrage is going to cover my expenses. Then all the bundles 2 free, whatever, if you're still doing 2s, because of some issues that have been going on, then they're going to create a nice nice chunk of profit. Nothing crazy, but a nice chunk. Then you're going to have bundle option 4s, 5s, which are going to be really good profits, but you don't have loads of those listings, but they're selling nice, and that's going to give you a nice amount of on top profit, like a premium. Yeah, so they're premium products that you're selling online. So overall, you're having a nice balance. You don't want to really get rid of the arbitrage because there's still profit to be made, right? But you also don't want to just do arbitrage because it's a bit of a slog, because you have to really kind of rinse those products through, a lot of them as well. Obviously, you've got to have the capital. So what if you want to, what if you don't have the capital at one point, right? Then do you take a loan, Amazon loan? Well, there's interest on that. So there's obviously a cost to it. So do you really want to be doing that in the long term when you could be saving all that interest by by splitting it across many of the bundles, and then you're saving yourself, $1,500 a year, on or whatever it ends up, because obviously you can take a $500,000 loan if you wanted, and that would be far more than £1,500 a year. But you get what I'm trying to say here. Like the real play is, if obviously you could, ideally, in the ideal one, if you could just have 100 bundle option 4s, 5s, or whatever it is, then great, and you could just live off that. But most of us, we're going to be layering them up. And that is probably the best strategy, because you never really know what's going to happen with any of them. And so you want to have options. You don't want to just be focusing, basically, for example, you don't want to just be focusing on online arbitrage. You don't want to just be focusing on creating generic listings. You don't want to just be focusing on, you want to actually add them all in, because then you've got options. You've got different things going on within your business. And if something seems to happen, as with Amazon, they change policies, they change things all the time. If something happens, then you're able to either remove those products because you are unable to find a solution, or you're able to rely on the others while you're sorting out a problem that has happened to a specific type of bundle set. So I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully this is just giving you a little bit of an overview of the potential that you could be basically gaining from this, and obviously potentially missing out if you're not doing this. And obviously you might ask, how do you go about doing bundles? There's many, resources online, but Ecom's, what is it called? Ecom in a Circle by Natalie Cromie. and a couple of other people. She is, the one main sort of, the one that rules them all kind of thing in terms of bundles, creating your own opportunities, listings, different types of listings, different types of bundles. She's the one that you really need to go to probably to look at this. So obviously you can check out her Facebook group and see what she offers there. She's got many useful tips, videos, and so on and so forth. So I would go there. That's pretty much where I've learnt this from, and it is something that you really need to look at doing, because as Amazon progresses over the years, obviously the competition is getting a lot harder, and so it's about figuring out what you can do to either offset or mitigate potential issues with arbitrage, for example, or if you don't look to do anything like this, then over time you could potentially be forced out of the Amazon space because you are not evolving with the space. And it is actually far easier than you think to actually create your own listings. Yeah, there's obviously technicalities around it, but overall it is actually far easier than even I thought. And for me, I could have done this a long time ago. I've been doing it for a good while now, but I could have done this a far longer time frame ago. That doesn't make sense either, but you get what I'm trying to say. And I didn't. And actually, it's one of those things. It's kind of like a kick in the ass. You even though I've been doing this a decent long time, it's nowhere near where I could have been at this time. And I feel like it's a longer time process. So it's gonna take 6 months to a year to really get a good consolidation of products that are balancing out nice profits overall based on what I've just explained to you, rather than creating 100 listings today or this week for new listings. Sorry. Yep. And then it's not necessarily going to obviously just be as easy as that. So it's a slightly longer term process, but it's very easy to see the results. And it's something that I'm tracking each month. And then I'm using that data to obviously refine the products in terms of quantities, improving profits, because a lot of these products that you list, you'll be the only seller. So yes, it might be that you're not making as many sales as you would in arbitrage, but you don't need to, because you are the only seller. Therefore, you can dictate the price, and therefore you can obviously create listings to suit specific people. And yes, you can make only 30, 40 sales a month, but you can be making £300. So, even on this simple example at the very, very top, 44 units, let's say on any given month, sell 6,000 units. Yep. So that's how much, if I just sold this top product, yep, times 216, I could be making 30,000. If I sold 6,000 units like I do in my standard arbitrage month, but imagine it was all on the equivalent or this product. Let's just imagine I could sell 6,000 units on this, but obviously in theory you could create many listings like this that generate the same results. Yeah, 205% is pretty crazy in my eyes, but this is a scenario, right? You could be making 29 grand ROI. So obviously you have to work at, obviously expenses and various things like that, just on 6,000 units under that listing. If obviously it could sell that. Yes, it won't, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you're making 29 grand gross profit, obviously minus expenses and everything afterwards. But, compared to what you probably see on, say, SellerBoard, Seller Toolkit on, say, 6,000 units, it's not going to be 29 grand, right? It could be if you're doing bundles and everything, but you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to leave the video there. Just a little bit of an update and an overview of my thoughts and everything. Many of you are obviously already doing bundles, so good on you. Keep smashing it. Obviously, I need to, many of you that are far more in advance than me on this along this journey in the process. But obviously, good to share my thoughts. Anyone that isn't doing it, obviously, any questions, let me know. But yeah, speak to Natalie Cromie. Well, maybe not reach out to her directly, but join the ecoms community, in ecoms inner circle, obviously, if you want to know what it is again. And yeah, see you next time, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.